Love, this is a precious gift, but also a challenging journey. Have you ever felt lost in your relationships? Or wondered how to build a lasting and happy love? Have you ever poured your heart into a relationship only to watch the other person drift away, convinced the grass was greener elsewhere? You stayed loyal, steady, and kind, yet she overlooked you. Months or years later, she's back, eyes full of regret, realizing what she lost. In that moment, you hold a choice: gloat, collapse, or rise. This article isn't about tricks to win her back, it's about winning yourself back. Using timeless Stoic principles, you'll learn how to turn heartbreak into strength, regret into clarity, and loss into a life that no one can undervalue again. Welcome to the Stoic Love Wisdom channel. This is where we share lessons about love, real-life experiences and tips for building strong relationships. In today's video, I will share with you, you are no longer the one being ignored, you are the one making her regret it. These may be things you have never thought of. If you are looking for a deeper understanding of love and how to develop relationships, don't miss this video. Before watching the video, find a quiet space and put on your headphones to feel every word I am about to share. Relax and enjoy this journey with me. Are you ready to start this journey? Let's begin. She overlooked your value, now she regrets it, a Stoic approach to love. Almost everyone who has been in a serious relationship has felt the sting of being underestimated or overlooked. You invest your time, your kindness, and your authentic self into a partnership, only to watch the other person drift away towards someone else or toward an imagined version of a better life. Later, sometimes months or even years down the road, that person reappears with an air of regret. For many men, this is not just a romantic disappointment, it feels like a deep violation of identity. Wasn't I enough? Didn't she see who I really was? These are normal questions. Yet, in the Stoic tradition, heartbreak is not simply a tragedy but an opportunity for self-mastery. This article explores what it means when she overlooked your value, why she may now regret it, and how you can respond in a way that strengthens rather than diminishes you. We'll use principles from ancient Stoicism, a philosophy embraced by figures like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, but translate them into a modern context of dating, breakups, and self-worth. 1. Understanding value in a relationship. When most of us think about value, we think in terms of money, social status, or beauty. But in the context of love, value is built from character. It's what remains when surface attractions fade: your reliability, your capacity for empathy, your steadiness under pressure, your willingness to tell the truth even when it's uncomfortable. In American dating culture, it's easy to confuse flash for substance. Dating apps emphasize pictures and clever one-liners. Social media rewards novelty and drama over loyalty and depth. In this environment, someone who is genuinely kind, consistent, and self-possessed may not immediately stand out. You might even be mistaken for boring because you aren't constantly chasing attention. Yet in the Stoic view, the highest form of value isn't what people notice at first glance. It's the set of virtues you cultivate over time. Marcus Aurelius called this, the good man's soul, a foundation of justice, courage, temperance, and wisdom. These qualities are stable. They don't disappear when a partner loses interest or when circumstances change. Perceived value and real value are therefore two different things. Perceived value is about appearance, how exciting or glamorous you seem right now. Real value is about substance, how you behave when things get hard. People who judge by perceived value may drift from one partner to another, always hoping for something shinier. People who understand real value seek depth, character, and commitment. When someone overlooks your real value, that says more about their stage of development than about your worth. They may be in a phase of life where they crave novelty. They may be influenced by friends, by social media, or by their own insecurities. Whatever the reason, their failure to recognize you does not erase your virtues. As Epictetus would put it, it is not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. Her choice does not define you, your interpretation of her choice does. This insight changes how you recover from heartbreak. Instead of seeing yourself as rejected, you can see yourself as a person who stayed true to his values even when unappreciated. You can examine whether you've been communicating and protecting your value effectively, for example, setting boundaries or articulating your needs, but you don't have to collapse into shame. Your value was real before, and it remains real now. A healthy sense of value also inoculates you against resentment. If you know your worth, you don't need to chase vindication. You don't need her to return in order to prove that you were enough. Whether she regrets it or not, you're still you. That is the heart of Stoic love, to ground your self-regard in your own virtue, not in someone else's perception. 2. Why people sometimes overlook someone's value. If your partner seemed blind to your qualities, you're not alone. There are deep psychological and cultural forces that make people undervalue what is steady and good. Understanding these forces helps you respond with clarity rather than bitterness. Novelty bias. Human beings are wired to notice change and excitement. Our ancestors had to scan for new threats and opportunities. Today, that instinct gets hijacked by consumer culture and dating apps. When your partner encounters someone new, their brain releases dopamine, the feel-good chemical, and suddenly you, the steady presence, feel less thrilling by comparison. This isn't about your inadequacy, it's about a biological bias toward novelty. The hedonic treadmill. Even the best things become background noise once we get used to them. Psychologists call this hedonic adaptation. The first months of a relationship are often full of fireworks. Over time, everyday life takes over. If your partner hasn't developed gratitude as a habit, they may start taking you for granted. Unrealistic expectations. Movies, advertising, and influencer culture create a fantasy of endless passion and perfection. Many people internalize the belief that their partner should make them happy at all times. When reality inevitably disappoints, they interpret normal fluctuations as proof that the relationship is wrong. Our own patterns. While it's empowering to see external causes, Stoicism always returns us to what is within our control. Sometimes we enable being overlooked by failing to assert boundaries, overgiving without reciprocity, or hiding our authentic selves to keep the peace. That doesn't mean the other person's choice is your fault. It simply means you can examine your role and adjust your behavior to express your value more clearly in the future. Recognizing these dynamics allows you to reframe the story. Instead of, "she didn't value me," it becomes, "her perception was clouded, and I may have contributed by not protecting my value." That's not self-blame, it's self-ownership. This shift is profoundly Stoic. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Finally, understanding why someone overlooked you helps you let go of bitterness when they later express regret. You see that their regret is not a moral victory for you but a natural consequence of cause and effect. They chased novelty, normalized your goodness, or held unrealistic expectations. Life taught them a lesson. You, meanwhile, have the chance to grow wiser, stronger, and more centered. Love, like a mirror that reflects ourselves. When you learn to love, you are also learning to look back at yourself. What are your strengths? What are the wounds that need to be healed? And understanding yourself will help you understand the other person more deeply. That is also the reason I share on this channel, to help you see love as a journey to nurture your soul. If you find these things meaningful, click like to spread that value. And if this is your first time coming to the channel, don't forget to click subscribe with the notification bell, so we can always accompany each other in the next lessons. Leave a comment below, share your true feelings after listening to this part. Who knows, your little story may touch the heart of someone in need. Now, let's continue on the next part of this journey. 3. When she leaves or overlooks you, the Stoic response. Breakups and rejection feel like a punch to the gut. You may replay conversations in your head, scroll through old photos, or imagine what she's doing with someone else. These reactions are normal. But they're also the very moments where a Stoic mindset becomes most powerful. The first Stoic discipline is the discipline of perception. Things are not good or bad in themselves, they're judged as good or bad by our minds. Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. She left, or she overlooked you. That's an external event. The meaning you attach to it, I'm worthless, I'll never love again, she betrayed me, is internal. You have control over that part. From this perspective, heartbreak stops being an existential crisis and becomes a training ground. You can practice separating pain from suffering. Pain is the raw feeling, sadness, loss, emptiness. Suffering is the story you layer on top, this shouldn't have happened, I can't handle this, I'll never be happy again. Pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. Another Stoic tool is negative visualization. For centuries, Stoics would imagine losing what they cherish to appreciate it more deeply and to prepare themselves for change. In love, this doesn't mean being cold or cynical. It means acknowledging that every relationship is, by nature, impermanent. People grow, change, and sometimes drift apart. If you internalize this truth, loss still hurts but it no longer surprises you. You are less likely to cling or to collapse. It's also important to practice voluntary discomfort. In the context of heartbreak, that might mean resisting the urge to seek immediate distractions, rebound relationships, compulsive social media, numbing behaviors. Instead, sit with your feelings. Journal about them. Go for long walks without your phone. Learn to endure the empty space. Marcus Aurelius wrote his meditations as a way to talk himself through difficulties, you can do the same. By enduring discomfort voluntarily, you develop resilience and self-respect. Finally, the Stoic response involves distinguishing between what's yours and what's hers. Your actions, your character, your growth, these are yours. Her feelings, her choices, her regret, these are hers. You can't control or fix them. By letting go of what isn't yours, you regain freedom. This doesn't mean you suppress grief or pretend to be unaffected. It means you face grief squarely but don't hand over your self-worth to someone else's decision. When you live this way, rejection no longer defines you. It refines you. Heartbreak becomes not the end of your story but a chapter in your training as a stronger, wiser person. 4. Living your values after rejection. Once the breakup or disappointment has happened, you face a fork in the road. One path leads to bitterness, self-doubt, and a cycle of proving yourself to others. The other path leads to self-mastery, dignity, and genuine growth. The second path is the Stoic path. The core question is, who do you want to be now? You can't control whether she regrets leaving you, but you can control whether you live in a way that honors your values. This is not about revenge or leveling up so she'll want you back. It's about integrity, living in alignment with what you know to be right. Start with self-mastery. This means treating your body and mind as sacred. Exercise regularly, not to impress but to strengthen. Eat well. Sleep properly. Avoid numbing behaviors. Create a morning routine that centers you, journaling, meditation, or reading a passage from the Stoics. The discipline you build here is a form of self-respect. Next comes courage. Heartbreak can make you fearful of vulnerability, of being hurt again, of trusting yourself. Courage doesn't mean ignoring these fears. It means acting in spite of them. Keep showing up for your friends. Keep pursuing your projects. Don't shrink your life because one person didn't appreciate you. Practice temperance. In the wake of rejection, it's tempting to overindulge, in alcohol, in venting, in rebound flings. Temperance is the art of moderation. It doesn't deny pleasure, it keeps pleasure from mastering you. By practicing temperance, you keep your dignity and prevent new mistakes born from pain. Finally, develop wisdom. This means reflecting on the relationship honestly. What did you learn about yourself? About boundaries? About the kind of partner you want to be? Wisdom turns experience into growth. Without reflection, pain is just pain. With reflection, pain becomes a teacher. Practical exercises can help. Journaling is one. Each morning, write down 3 things you're grateful for, 1 lesson you're learning, and 1 small virtuous action you'll take today. Another is voluntary discomfort, choosing small challenges, cold showers, long runs, digital detox days, to remind yourself that you're capable of enduring discomfort and thriving. Living your values after rejection also means reconnecting with community. The Stoics valued friendship and service. Reach out to supportive friends, volunteer, mentor someone younger. When you contribute to others, you stop seeing yourself as a victim and start seeing yourself as a participant in something larger. All of this is rooted in the Stoic insight that your worth is intrinsic. It does not rise or fall with someone else's recognition. By living your values now, you not only heal but also become a person who cannot be easily overlooked again, not because you're louder or flashier, but because you radiate self-possession and purpose. 5. Now she regrets it, how to respond stoically. One of the strangest twists after a breakup is when the person who left you, or who underestimated you, comes back with regret. Maybe she texts you out of the blue, apologizing. Maybe she starts liking your posts or asks mutual friends about you. For many men, this moment is bittersweet. On the one hand, it feels like vindication, finally, she sees my worth. On the other hand, it can reopen old wounds and tempt you into reactive decisions. A Stoic approach helps you stay centered. The first principle is to recognize that her regret is hers, not yours. It's a sign that she has had new experiences, faced consequences, or matured. It is not a badge of your superiority. You don't need her regret to validate you, because your worth was never truly in question. Second, practice compassion over gloating. The ego wants to say, "See? You were wrong." But the Stoic heart understands that everyone stumbles. Just as you want others to show mercy for your mistakes, you can extend empathy for hers. This doesn't mean you must take her back or continue contact. It means you release resentment. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Third, maintain boundaries without bitterness. If you decide to communicate, be clear about your intentions and limits. You're under no obligation to resume the relationship. You're also under no obligation to punish her. You can simply state, "I appreciate your apology. I've moved on," or, if you're open to exploring reconciliation, "Let's take it slow and see what's changed." Boundaries protect your dignity and prevent you from falling into old patterns. Fourth, remember freedom through detachment. Detachment in Stoicism isn't coldness, it's the freedom to act from principle instead of impulse. When she reappears, you might feel a surge of old longing or anger. Pause. Breathe. Ask yourself, what's under my control right now? What action aligns with my values? Sometimes that means closing the door politely. Sometimes it means cautiously opening it. Either way, the decision is yours, not dictated by your emotions. Finally, use her regret as a mirror for your own growth. Why does it matter to you that she regrets it? Is it because you're still seeking validation, or because you genuinely care for her? Examining your motives honestly can reveal where you're still vulnerable to ego and where you've achieved real self-possession. Handled this way, now she regrets it stops being a drama and becomes a test you pass with dignity. You neither gloat nor grovel. You simply stand in your values, free to choose your path. There are things in love, only when we take a step back, sit down quietly, can we truly understand. I share these stories not to teach you how to love, but so that you can find the answers for yourself. If what you just heard touches your heart, please click like as a way to spread this positive energy to more people. And remember to click subscribe, because there are many profound perspectives on love waiting for you in the next videos. Now, let's continue the remaining journey together, because the most precious things are sometimes at the end. 6. Turning loss into growth. The last and most empowering step of a Stoic approach to heartbreak is to transform loss into fuel for your own development. In the ancient world, the Stoics saw adversity as training. Epictetus compared life to an athletic contest. You don't get to choose your opponent, but you can choose how to prepare and how to fight. First, redefine your identity. After a breakup, it's tempting to define yourself as the one who was left or the one who wasn't valued. Stoicism invites you to see yourself instead as a student of life. This experience is not a verdict, it's a lesson. Ask yourself, what virtues can I strengthen because of this? Maybe patience. Maybe assertiveness. Maybe discernment. Framing it this way shifts you from victimhood to agency. Second, develop your life's purpose. Heartbreak often leaves a void. Fill that space with something bigger than yourself, a creative project, a fitness goal, a career move, a cause you care about. The Stoics believed a meaningful life requires living in accordance with nature, which for humans means using reason, contributing to community, and fulfilling our potential. When you pursue purpose, you stop orbiting around someone else's choices and start moving on your own trajectory. Third, strengthen friendships and community. Love loss can make you isolate, but community is a powerful healer. Reach out to supportive friends, join groups aligned with your interests, mentor someone younger. Helping others shifts your focus outward and reminds you of your inherent value beyond romantic roles. Fourth, practice gratitude and perspective. Even in pain, list what remains good: your health, your opportunities, your capacity to love again. Remember the Stoic exercise of the view from above, imagining yourself as a small part of the vast cosmos. Your heartbreak, however intense, is one moment in a much larger story. This doesn't belittle your pain, it places it in a context that makes it bearable. Fifth, accept impermanence. All relationships, even the happiest, end in one way or another, through breakup or death. This is not a tragedy but a feature of life. Accepting impermanence frees you from clinging and opens you to appreciate love as it happens, without demanding it last forever. By turning loss into growth, you become a person who is not merely recovered but transformed. You carry forward deeper self-knowledge, stronger virtues, and a clearer sense of direction. Ironically, this makes you more attractive and magnetic to others, but by then, you no longer need their recognition to feel whole. 7. Compassion, boundaries, and freedom, living Stoicism when she regrets it. By the time you have moved through heartbreak, rebuilt your routines, and strengthened your character, something interesting happens. You're no longer operating from a place of scarcity. You've learned that your value isn't tied to one person's recognition. You've practiced self-mastery, courage, temperance, and wisdom. So when the message comes, the late-night text, the unexpected apology, the "I've been thinking about you," you can receive it from a completely different state of mind. This state of mind combines three Stoic virtues: compassion, boundaries, and freedom. Compassion means you see her as a fellow human being, not as an adversary or an idol. She made a choice based on her perceptions at the time. She has lived experiences that changed her perspective. Now she regrets it. That's part of her path. You can acknowledge her humanity without either glorifying or vilifying her. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, whenever you're offended at someone's fault, turn to yourself and reflect, you too have faults, you too are human. Boundaries mean you decide what role, if any, she will have in your life now. Regret is not a ticket back into your heart. It's information. You can listen, consider, and still say no. You can also say yes, but only if it aligns with your values and the changes you've made. Boundaries aren't punishment, they're clarity. They protect the progress you've built. Freedom is the result of living the first two virtues. Freedom means you are no longer reacting but choosing. If you say no, it's because you've decided no, not because you're trying to hurt her. If you say yes, it's because you genuinely want to, not because you're desperate for validation. This is the essence of Stoic detachment. You're not cold or numb, you're centered. You act from principle instead of impulse. This approach also reframes the idea of winning. Many people secretly hope that an ex's regret will be a kind of victory. But the Stoic victory is different. It's not about her realizing you were right, it's about you realizing you're free. Free from the need to be seen a certain way, free from the cycle of proving yourself, free to choose compassion without self-betrayal. Finally, practicing compassion, boundaries, and freedom positions you to have healthier relationships in the future. Whether with her or with someone new, you now have the tools to navigate love without losing yourself. You've transformed heartbreak into a foundation for wiser intimacy. 8. From heartbreak to eudaimonia, flourishing beyond regret. The Greek word the Stoics often used for the highest good is eudaimonia, flourishing, a life of deep well-being rooted in virtue. It's not a fleeting mood but a steady state of living in harmony with your principles. Heartbreak, paradoxically, can be a doorway to this state if you walk through it intentionally. Start by recognizing how far you've come. At the beginning of this journey you may have felt crushed, unseen, and angry. By practicing the Stoic disciplines, perception, action, and will, you've learned to see events clearly, act according to virtue, and accept what lies beyond your control. This is growth. Next, integrate what you've learned into your daily life. Continue the routines you built during recovery, morning journaling, physical training, time in nature, reading philosophy. Don't drop them once you feel better. They're not just emergency measures, they're the scaffolding of a flourishing life. Then, expand your horizon beyond the self. The Stoics emphasized cosmopolitanism, the idea that we're citizens of a larger world. Volunteer, mentor, create, build. Use the empathy you've gained from heartbreak to serve others. This outward focus nourishes eudaimonia because it shifts you from self-concern to contribution. Cultivate new relationships slowly and wisely. Because you've learned the difference between perceived value and real value, you'll be less dazzled by surface charm and more attuned to character. You'll set boundaries naturally. You'll communicate your needs without fear. You'll recognize that love is not possession but practice, a daily enactment of virtues. Finally, embrace impermanence with gratitude. Every connection, no matter how brief, is an opportunity to practice virtue and to give and receive care. When you stop demanding that love conform to a script and start appreciating it as an experience, you free yourself from the bitterness of regret, both yours and others. This is the true power of a Stoic approach to love, not a technique to get someone back, but a path to become whole whether or not they return. By grounding your self-worth in your own character, you can navigate romance, loss, and reconciliation without losing your center. And when someone who once overlooked you expresses regret, you'll meet it not with gloating or desperation but with equanimity, perhaps even a quiet smile. In that moment, you'll understand what Marcus Aurelius meant when he wrote, "The universe is change, our life is what our thoughts make it." She changed. You changed. And because you chose to build virtue, your life now rests on a foundation she can no longer give or take away. That is eudaimonia. That is flourishing beyond regret. Conclusion. Heartbreak, rejection, and regret are unavoidable parts of the human story. What distinguishes a life of bitterness from a life of growth is how we meet these moments. When someone overlooks your value, it hurts. When they later express regret, it can feel validating but also confusing. Yet through a Stoic lens, both events become invitations to deepen your character. By understanding the difference between perceived and real value, you stop measuring yourself by someone else's perception. By practicing the disciplines of perception, action, and will, you learn to separate pain from suffering, to respond instead of react, and to live according to your virtues rather than your impulses. By cultivating self-mastery, courage, temperance, and wisdom, you rebuild a life rooted in dignity, not in resentment or validation. When she regrets overlooking you, you're no longer desperate to be seen. You can respond with compassion without surrendering your boundaries. You can choose freedom over gloating, clarity over confusion. Her regret becomes a mirror showing you how far you've come, from needing external approval to embodying internal steadiness. Ultimately, a Stoic approach to love does not promise that you'll never be hurt. It promises that you can be whole even when hurt, that you can flourish even after loss. This is the true victory, not getting her back, but getting yourself back, and more than that, discovering a self who is wiser, freer, and more capable of loving well. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Choose thoughts rooted in virtue, act from principle, and no one's regret or rejection can take away your peace. That is your unshakable value. Thank you for taking the time to watch today's video. I hope you have found useful lessons about love and relationships. If you find this video useful, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends. I really appreciate your support and will continue to bring valuable content in the next videos. Please continue to accompany me on my journey to learn about love and relationships. See you again and wish you happiness.